Hello, how's it going? Welcome to the channel, and I am here for a CD collection video for you guys. Now, for this CD collection, I'll be showing you my Breaking Benjamin CD collection. Now, Breaking Benjamin is one of those bands that do mean something to me a lot because they were one of the first bands I have ever gotten into. So yeah, I've been a fan for several years now, nearly a decade at this point. And I know I already did do a Breaking Benjamin, well, I already shown off, my Breaking Benjamin CDs in a similar collection video before, where I also showed albums from Red and 3 Days Grace. So if you're interested in that video, you can go check that out, of course. But I wanted to do one just exclusively for Breaking Benjamin, since I've had a few I guess recent additions to the collection. So yeah, we're gonna of course go in chronology order, and I'll also let you know my thoughts on each album as I go through them. So yeah, let's go ahead and get on with it. So first up, we of course got Saturate, which is their debut album, and I actually think that this album is really underrated. I've seen a lot of people say that this is their worst album, but I don't think it's their worst at all. I think this album is actually really great. I actually think it might even be one of their best. I know, unpopular opinion, but I don't know. I just really like the raw sound that you get with this album, and this is when they were very influenced by Tool, but yeah, very good album. Of course, you got great songs like Wish I May, Medicate, Polyamorous, Natural Life, Water, and Home. You also got your fair share of underrated songs on here too, but yeah, it's a great album. Next up, we got the So Cold EP. Now, these things are really rare to come across. Definitely worth owning if you're a fan. I wouldn't say that this is that essential to get, but if you're a fan, like a diehard fan, I'd say definitely try to find this EP. It's definitely worth owning, I think. It's cool to own, rare stuff like this. I think I found this at the not the Exchange, FYE one time. It was actually when FYE was near me, before the local FYE near me closed down. But yeah, FYE I think is where I got this. I think I got it for around $5, which is a really good deal. But yeah, if you see one of these, be sure to pick it up, because they're not easy to come across, like I said. So next up, we got We Are Not Alone. And I'll be honest, this is my least favorite Breaking Benjamin album. It's kind of always been towards the bottom for me. But that's not to say that this is a bad album. Still think it's a good album, but just it happens to be my least favorite of their discography. Of course, you got great songs like So Cold, Follow, Firefly, and Sooner or Later, of course. Yeah, you do get some good stuff on this album. Again, not one of their best, but still good for what it is. Next, we got Phobia, which is probably my favorite album from these guys. I really dig this album. To me, I think this album just really combines everything Breaking Benjamin does right. You got your raw moments, your, intriguing melodies, and just, some songs that do have, fairly strong replay value. Yeah, definitely a great album. Definitely easily one of their best. In my opinion, it is their best. Many great songs on here, like The Diary of Jane, Evil Angel, Dance with the Devil, Unknown Soldier, Had Enough. I mean, this album, you definitely get a lot of great songs on it. But yeah, Phobia, I mean, it's, definitely my favorite Breaking Benjamin album. There's just a lot to like about that album. But next up, we got Dear Agony. And I've seen a lot of people say that this is their best album. I can understand why. It's definitely a great album. Probably their darkest sounding album too. And this was actually my first Breaking Benjamin album, and Actually, it might even be my first album ever. I do remember this being one of the first CDs I've ever purchased, ever. I mean, yeah, still a great album though, you know. Now, there was a time where this was my favorite Breaking Benjamin album, you know, of course for obvious reasons, you know, it was, you know, the most epic sounding album. It was, you know, their darkest album. It's, of course, you know, more on the edgy side compared to the stuff that they've released prior. And it's also one of their most emotional albums too, considering, you know, what's happened with Breaking Benjamin during this time, of course. You know, with Ben Burnley with his, you know, personal issues and I believe mental health issues and stuff like that. And this album, it definitely shows, and I think, you know, it's done very well. I'd even say that this is one of their best. This is either my second or third favorite Breaking Benjamin album. I don't know. It's up there, though. It's in my top 3. But yeah, you get many great songs on here, of course, like Give Me a Sign, What Lies Beneath, the title track, and you also got the underrated Into the Nothing. Yeah, this album definitely has a lot of solid material on it, has its intriguing melodies, and it's just a really good album overall. I mean, if you're a Breaking Benjamin fan, how do you not like it? Then we, of course, got the greatest hits album, Shallow Bay. I found this at Walmart fairly recently for like $5. I decided to go ahead and grab it, of course, you know, for $5, why not? But yeah, I would say that this is definitely worth owning if you are a fan of Breaking Benjamin. It's a neat little compilation album to have in your collection if you're a fan of these guys. But yeah, Shallow Bay. And then we, of course, got the comeback album, Dark Before Dawn, when Ben got his new lineup, of course. Definitely a really good album. Sure, it's not one of their best, but I still think it's a great album. I think the biggest problem with this album is it's a little samey for Breaking Benjamin. Like, it's nothing really new. This album didn't really bring anything new to the table, I think. But for what the album is, I still think it's really good. I mean, I remember, you know, I was just going on my first year of college whenever this album came out. And I just remember being really stoked, you know, to hear about, you know, the band coming out with a new album, you know, and then the single Failure came out, and I was just really, really excited. Yeah, still a good album, though. Of course, I really like Failure, Angels Fall, Close to Heaven, which I think is a really underrated song from these guys. And you also got Defeated, which I think is also kind of underrated. But yeah, Dark Before Dawn, again, not one of their best, but I do like the album. And then, of course, we got Ember, which is one of their heaviest albums. They tried to take a more heavy approach with this album, you know, to somewhat of an extent capture that Saturate vibe, you know, back in the early 2000s, you know. I felt like, you know, Breaking Benjamin were really trying to go back to their roots with this album, Ember. And on some songs it works, and some others kind of middle of the road. But yeah, Ember, not one of their best, but I still think it's a great album. I mean, you got songs like Red Cold River, Tourniquet, and Psycho. I mean, those are some of my personal favorites off the album. I have seen some people say that this is their best album, which I'm just... I don't see it at all. I don't understand it. Now, maybe it's just a fanboy thing, you know, because this is their newest studio album or whatever, but I don't know. I don't think it's anywhere near one of their best, honestly. But it's still a good album, for sure, so, yeah. And then, of course, we got the latest acoustic album, Aurora. I do like this album. Of course, you know, it's technically a compilation of, you know, songs that they've already written, just, you know, more acoustic driven, of course. Yeah, pretty decent to have. I mean, the album Doesn't have the strongest replay value, but I still think it's a good acoustic album. I mean, I think it went off pretty well, you know, even though the replay value isn't the strongest. But I still think for what the album Aurora is, it's still good. Well, there you go, guys. That is my collection for Breaking Benjamin. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys have from Breaking Benjamin? Feel free to let me know in the comments. What's your favorite album from these guys? And just let me know all that stuff. So let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day and take care.